Captain Logan Carter watched the transmission flicker. Admiral Kale, humanity's liaison to the Council, standing beside the alien Primarchs. "Stand down, Earth forces," Kale said coldly. "You've violated the treaty. You will not leave Vega alive." Carter's fists clenched. He was one of ours. Engines roared to life aboard the Resolute, humanity's new dreadnought. Across the Vega line, 200 ships turned into a defensive formation. Carter opened comms to all fleets. "Kale sold us out. The Council's coming with everything. We hold here, or we burn." Behind Kale, the void warped. Ancient ships, dark, jagged, harrower hulls, emerged from nothingness, screaming silent death. "They brought the old ghosts," whispered Exo Arya Lynn. Carter stepped forward. "Then we exorcise them." The trap had sprung, but retreat was not an option. Humanity's final battle had begun. The harrowers moved like demons in the dark, silent, angular ships with gravitic fangs. Centuries-old war relics, impossible to predict, harder to kill. Their formation was chaos made precision. 15 capital signatures, no life signs. AI or ghosts, Lynn reported, teeth clenched. Carter stood on the Resolute's bridge, eyes locked on the tactical map. "Doesn't matter. Target the lead destroyer, section Omega-9. Experimental rail turrets charged. Fire!" The shot struck true, but the harrower's armor shimmered, folding space itself. The projectile vanished. "They're running distortion cores. They bend impacts." The harrowers countered. Lance beams carved into the Indomitable, severing its reactor. The explosion painted the void red. Carter's heart sank. The Council hadn't just come to punish, they came to annihilate. Still, he didn't waver. "Deploy Project Genesis, full offensive mode." If the old monsters wanted war, humanity would answer with something new. Beneath the Resolute's hull, hatches peeled open with a groan. Dozens of drone pods launched like meteor swarms. Silver, shifting, alive. "Project Genesis online," Lynn confirmed. Nanoswarm drones adapting to enemy armor signatures. Carter nodded. "Send them into the heart." The drones moved like water through the vacuum, coalescing into shapes, blades, drills, waves, tearing into a harrower frigate. Sparks erupted. Hulls cracked. For the first time, a harrower ship broke apart. Cheers erupted across the fleet. But the Council had adapted too. From behind the harrower line, a new shape emerged. Sleek, organic, bristling with unknown tech. The Eclipse, the Council's flagship. "We have no data on it," Lynn said. "Stealth systems, integrated warp lances. It's a predator." Carter stared at it. "Then we don't blink." He tapped into fleet-wide comms. "No matter what that thing is, we hold Vega. Humanity stands here." And the void burned with resolve. The Eclipse moved like a thought, flickering, vanishing, reappearing inside Earth lines. Its lances speared the Zephyr, tearing the cruiser in two before its captain could even scream. "It's rewriting sensor logs," Lynn gasped. "We can't track it." Carter slammed his fist against the console. "Reroute Genesis AI. Create a prediction matrix. Every move it makes, guess 3 ahead." The Genesis swarm began splitting, flashing into sub-packets, forming decoys, laying data traps. Still, the Eclipse danced. "Sir, they're drawing us into a gravity well," cried Ensign Miro. Too late. The Resolute bucked as gravitic anchors yanked her toward a Council minefield. "Full reverse, cut engines, bleed inertia." Plasma flared. The dreadnought screamed against momentum, barely holding. But then a trickle of a smile crossed Carter's lips. "Get me control of that minefield." If the Council wanted traps, he'd turn their own into weapons. Under Carter's orders, the Resolute's AI forced a neural breach, hacking the Council's minefield through frequency echoes and deep-wave mimicry. "Mind control at 62%, Lynn said, redirecting detonation protocols. Carter's eyes gleamed. "Now we fight dirty." As the Eclipse blinked into range again, the mines surged toward it like swarming wasps. The Council flagship shimmered, shielding itself, but several mines detonated prematurely, rocking its underbelly. A chink in the armor, a moment of vulnerability. All ships, concentrate fire on the Eclipse, mark Delta 3. The sky erupted, laser flak, plasma bolts, kinetic salvos. The Predator dodged most, but not all. A Genesis spear punctured its outer shell. The ship reeled, shields flaring, but it wasn't dead. Enemy flagship retreating to Shadow Vale, Lynn said. They'll be back, Carter muttered, and from the edge of the void, new blips emerged, another fleet, but not the Council. Unknown signatures. Sir, someone else just joined the war. The newcomers emerged in silence. Obsidian ships with pulsing amber veins, shaped like daggers forged in nightmares. No transponder codes, Lynn reported. No Council, no Earth signatures. Origin? Carter asked. Unknown. But some of our old archives mention these designs. Varan-style constructs. Carter froze. The Varan, mythic enemies of the Council, thought extinct. The new fleet began attacking, but not Earth ships. Harrowers fell under withering fire. Precision kills strategic flanks. They're helping us? Miro asked. For now, Carter said, wary. He opened a channel. Unknown fleet. Identify. The reply came in jagged, modulated tones. The enemy of your enemy lives, but trust is not earned in words. Then they vanished from comms, continuing their assault with brutal efficiency. Whatever their motives, they had just turned the tide. Temporarily. Prepare for the flanking run. While they tear through Harrowers, we go for the Eclipse's throat. Carter's assault force split from the main fleet, diving into the dark between minefield wreckage and derelict hulls. We've mapped a vector that flanks the Eclipse's shadow veil. If we strike there, it'll expose us, Lynn warned. No retreat. We don't need one. As the Resolute led the charge, Genesis drones shaped themselves into mirrored shields, hiding engine signatures and reflecting radiation. Carter stared into the dark. Every breath reminded him this mission could be suicide. Behind them, the mysterious fleet decimated the last Harrowers, leaving only wreckage and silence. The Eclipse came into view, its shields pulsing erratically from the earlier mine strike. Carter rose. Target its grav core. Focus all fire, now. The Resolute unleashed everything. Lances pierced shielding. Drones drilled deep. Then the Eclipse vanished again. Where'd it go? Sir, it's behind us. The Predator wasn't retreating. It was hunting. The Eclipse reappeared inside the human flank. Its lances vaporized 2 escorts in seconds. Shields, rearward, bring us about, Carter roared. Too late. The Resolute shuddered as power conduits sparked and hull plating peeled away. We've lost aft batteries. Lynn looked up. Carter, we're not going to win this head-on. Then we don't fight fair. Carter tapped his wristlink. Activate Black Veil. Lynn froze. You're using that? The only way to beat a monster is to become one. From the Resolute's core, Black Veil, a forbidden tech created after Earth's darkest war, woke. Suddenly, the Dreadnought's form shimmered, phasing slightly out of sync with reality. The next lance from the Eclipse passed harmlessly through them. Carter smiled grimly. Now we hunt you. The trap had turned. Cloaked in Black Veil distortion, the Resolute emerged behind the Eclipse, the hunter now prey. Targeting Gravcore, Lynn whispered. Fire all Genesis drills. Spear the heart. The Genesis swarm surged, piercing through the weakened shields and into the flagship's structure. The Eclipse retaliated, but its lances faltered, unable to hit what it couldn't properly see. Carter felt every impact, every delay, every second slipping through their fingers. Status. Core breached. The Eclipse is destabilizing. Reactor flux rising. Suddenly, a transmission, garbled, alien. The Eclipse was speaking. Your kind is not ready. Then a pulse. Wave energy knocked half the fleet offline. EMP burst. Our comms, sensors, everything. The eclipse exploded in a silent storm of blue fire, disappearing into a singularity. Victory, but at a cost. Carter looked at the void. If that was their prototype, what else do they have? Debris floated like snowflakes in the dead silence that followed the eclipse's destruction. The remaining Council fleet was in disarray. Leaderless, blind, panicking. Earthships pressed the advantage. "Push them back," Carter ordered. "We finish this." Missiles streaked like comets. Lances flared like suns. One by one, Council warships fell. Then the unknown fleet hailed again. "You held the line. Impressive." Carter replied, "Are you with us?" "No, we are not with anyone. But you bought time. The Council has more. Beneath." "What do you mean?" But they had already vanished. As Earth's ships secured the Vega line, Carter stared at the distant stars. "We've won the battle. But the war just changed." And in the Council's shattered archives, far from Vega, ancient machines stirred. In the aftermath of victory, Carter ordered salvage teams to scour the eclipse's remains. Deep in a fractured AI core, they found it, a repeating signal. "It's not Council code," Lynn said, frowning. "It's older, pre-Council, maybe even Varen." The transmission was simple, chilling. "Protocol Cinder, final flame. Reignition begins." "What's reigniting?" Carter asked. Before anyone could answer, 3 Council dreadnoughts emerged at the system's edge, fast, angular, nothing like their standard builds. "These are new, designed after our tech. Copied from our last battle," Carter realized. "They're learning." Even crippled, the Council wasn't retreating. They were escalating. "Get every ship ready," he ordered. "We don't survive this unless we evolve faster than they do." The line had held once. Now they would hold it again, or die trying. "Operation Forge is online," Lynn announced as engineers raced across the Resolute's decks. In record time, they'd integrated salvaged Varen nanofiber into hull plating, giving human ships adaptive shield capabilities. "These new shields bend like the Harrowers but flex with Genesis AI," Carter said. "Test them on the Vigilant. Put her in the line." The Vigilant, newly upgraded, joined the front wave as the 3 Council dreadnoughts advanced. Carter watched. The enemy opened fire, plasma spears and ion shrapnel. The Vigilant's new shields shimmered gold, refracting the blasts harmlessly. "It works," Lynn exhaled. "Good," Carter said. "Then let's teach them fear." The Resolute surged forward, its upgrades activated. Genesis weapons reshaped mid-flight, striking with surgical precision. The Council ships faltered, confused by the new tactics. This time, the learning curve favored Earth. Carter's eyes locked onto the tactical map. "They're herding us toward Vega's gas giant. It's a trap." "Reverse course?" Lynn asked. "No, we spring it first." He ordered the fleet into a tight V formation, cloaking 2 flanks with Genesis-generated plasma mists. As expected, the Council dreadnoughts moved in, thinking they had Earth cornered. "Now!" Carter shouted. From the mist, 2 stealth corvettes emerged, Shade 1 and 2, each carrying ion destabilizers. They fired. Blue arcs crackled, gravity fields collapsed. One enemy dreadnought spiraled into the gas giant, screaming plasma in its wake. 2 to go, Carter said. But then alarms blared. "Sir, an energy surge. Something's opening behind the planet." Space twisted, ripping like paper, and from the tear came a Leviathan. Not Council, not Varen. Something older, something watching. It was unlike anything they'd ever seen. 5 kilometers of obsidian flesh and quantum steel, its body rippling with runes no species recognized. "It's not a ship," Lynn whispered. "It's alive." The Leviathan floated above the gas giant, silent. Then it roared. Sound had no place in space, but every human heard it in their minds. Carter staggered. Visions flashed wars from eons ago, stars exploding, a war against time itself. The alien entity launched tendrils of dark energy, snaring one of the Council dreadnoughts. It screamed, ruptured, then vanished into dust. "Council just got wiped," Miro said, breathless. "We don't know what side it's on," Carter muttered. Another pulse. The Resolute's power dropped to 30%. "It's draining us." Carter made a choice. "All ships, disengage." We baited a god, and it woke up angry. "Helm, plot Omega escape, maximum burn," Carter ordered. "But we can't outrun it," Lin shouted. "Not trying to. We're going to hide inside the storm." The Vega gas giant boiled with electrical fury. No sane pilot entered its atmosphere. The Resolute dove. Lightning crashed across its hull. Pressure screamed. Genesis drones formed a cocoon around the ship, adapting in real time. The Leviathan pursued, but slowed, halted at the edge. "It can't follow," Lin said, shocked. "No. It remembers something in this storm, something it fears," Carter guessed. Static buzzed across comms. Then, "Not your time, yet." The Leviathan withdrew into the tier and vanished. Silence returned. Carter sat back, breath ragged. "Update all command ships," he said. "We're not just fighting the Council anymore. We've stepped into the shadow of something older." The Resolute limped from the storm, hull scorched, drones depleted. "We need repairs and answers," Carter said. At command, Earth's High Council appeared via holofeed, visibly shaken. "We've intercepted similar signals from 3 other sectors," said Admiral Kira Wren. "That thing, it's not unique." Lin whispered, "There are more." Carter paced. "The Council tried to keep us small. Now we know why." Miro spoke up. "If they feared waking these Leviathans, what did they do to deserve it?" "Or worse," Carter added, "what are they planning to control them?" He stared at the holomap. "We hold the Vega line, but we need to hit back before another one wakes. It's time we took the war to the shadows. The Council flagship may have fallen, but its creators weren't idle." A new report came in, deep within the Hekar cluster, a foundry world pulsed with strange emissions. Carter leaned in. "That's where they're building the next generation." Stealth ships launched under blackout protocols. Genesis AIs scrubbed their digital trails. The fleet moved like ghosts through dying stars and ancient ruins. When they arrived, Carter stared at the foundry. Massive, alive, orbiting a black hole tethered by gravitational braids. "Even the Council shouldn't have this tech," Lin said. "That's the point," Carter answered. "They didn't build this, they found it. And now they were trying to awaken it. Ready infiltration drones. We cut the power before the next monster wakes." The drones infiltrated the foundry's central hub. What they found froze Carter's blood. "Sir, this isn't a factory. It's a resurrection chamber." Varen war frames, long thought extinct, floated in stasis, part organic, part machine, all rage. "The Council's reviving their ancient enemies?" Miro asked, stunned. "No," Carter said. "They're enslaving them." He stared at one warrior, massive, broken horn, branded with Council glyphs. They found Varen ruins and decided to make their pet demons. Lin gasped. "This is why the Leviathans stirred. They're guardians of balance, and the Council just broke it." Alarms blared. "Drones detected. We're exposed. Evacuate and prep strike coordinates. We turn this place into a sun." Carter's fleet formed a perimeter. The foundry bristled with defenses, automated turrets, Council frigates, reawakened Varen hybrids. But Earth came prepared. "Release the Sun Lance," Carter ordered. The Resolute's keel split open, revealing a shimmering sphere, an antimatter core seeded with Genesis nanosuns. "Target the reactor braid." The Sun Lance fired, a beam of condensed stellar fury. The foundry cracked, then ignited. Shockwaves tore through space. The Varen abominations inside never had a chance. Council ships fled. "Not this time," Carter muttered. "Pursuit formation. Make them remember fear." Behind them, the foundry burned bright, then fell into the black hole, vanishing forever. Silence reigned after the battle. Earth's fleet regrouped. Carter stood on the bridge overlooking the stars. "We won today. But not because we were stronger," he told the crew. "We won because we refused to become monsters." Lynn approached. "We have decoded more of the signal. There's a phrase repeated often. Cycle 8 broken. Cycle 9 begins." "What does it mean?" "No idea," she said. "But I think the Council was part of something much, much bigger." "Then we stop waiting," Carter replied. "We take the fight beyond their borders." He raised a fist. "Not just for Earth, for every world silenced, every voice buried beneath the Council's lies. We end this, all the way to the source." A Council envoy ship hailed the Resolute, its presence alone a violation of wartime protocols. Carter ordered it brought aboard. The envoy removed her hood. "Admiral Sayela," Lynn gasped. "She defected years ago." "I did not defect," Sayela said coldly. "I sought survival." Carter eyed her. "Survival for who?" "The Council is fractured. Some of us warned against awakening the elder machines. We were silenced." She transmitted schematics, an ancient starforge buried beneath Vionis Prime. "They're building the final weapon there, one that can bend a sun's will." Carter narrowed his gaze. "Why help us now?" "Because," Sayela whispered, "they no longer want control. They want cleansing. Of everything." A Council civil war had begun, but the weapon, it would end everyone. The fleet raced to Vionis Prime. The planet glowed with fire veins, cracks in its surface leading to the hidden forge below. Council loyalists defended it with fanatical precision. "Land us in low orbit," Carter barked. "We go in hard." Drop pods rained across the scorched surface. Ground squads deployed Genesis exosuits, each tuned to counter Council bioweapons. Explosions rocked the basin as Carter led the charge himself. Turrets screamed. The sky darkened. Then the mountain split open, revealing the forge. Spinning rings held a sun core fragment in stasis, already pulsing with life. "They're making their star god," Lynn said. "Then we kill it before it awakens." Inside the forge, reality warped. Machines hummed ancient tones. Varen, Council, and Harrower Tech all fused into one terrible shrine. Carter and his team pressed forward. Then came the Guardians, biomechs with ember eyes and shifting armor. "They're not machines," Miro said, firing. "They're grown." Sayela rejoined them, cloaked. "These are the children of fire, the Council's final attempt to become gods." They fought room to room, losing 5 in the charge. At the forge heart, a control pylon rose, defended by a being nearly 3 meters tall, half Varen, half solar plasma. Carter gritted his teeth. "No more false kings." He raised the Sunlance rifle and fired. The shot pierced the Guardian's chest. The pylon cracked. The stasis rings buckled, energy flared wildly. "Detonation chains started," Lynn warned. "We have minutes." "Evac now," Carter yelled. As they ran, the forge shook. Council loyalists panicked, some begging for mercy. But Carter didn't stop. The Resolute locked onto their beacon and deployed grav hooks, pulling the team aboard seconds before the eruption. Behind them, Vionis Prime bloomed into a false sun, tearing itself apart. "No more children, no more Council gods," Carter muttered. But Lynn stared at the screens. "We caught a signal," she said. "It wasn't a distress call. It was a summons." "To what?" Carter asked. She didn't answer. In Earth's orbit, a black rift formed. It didn't come through space, it folded it. Out stepped an obsidian armada. Not Council, not Leviathan. Something in between. A hybrid fleet. "They activated Eclipse Protocol," Sayela said, horrified. "A final contingency. Machines bound to extinct races. made to erase every civilization that crosses a threshold. The threshold? Genesis Tech, Carter realized. Us. The Resolute's alarms blared. 17 vessels inbound, unknown drives, quantum shielding, and one of them's broadcasting to us. The message was clear. You've breached the final veil. Prepare for judgment. Carter stood, resolute. Then let's show them we don't kneel. Earth's moon darkened as the Obsidian Eclipse fleet spilled from the rift like shadows made manifest. Carter paced the Resolute's bridge, hands clasped behind his back. All defense satellites align. EMP shields too full. I want every drone wing primed for release. Lynn glanced at the tactical display. They're deploying gravitational sync fields. They're collapsing the local physics grid. The sky around Terragate fractured like glass. Eclipse dreadforms bleeding antimatter and dark energy. Fleet-wide channel, Carter ordered. His voice rang clear. We are the wall. Earth is our heart. Hold the line. Engines roared. The void burned. Then the battle began. The Council never fought like this. The Eclipse ships moved like living code, splitting, rejoining, phasing through reality. Human ships exploded by the dozens. But the line didn't break, because behind them was Earth. And Carter refused to kneel. Aboard the Resolute, warning sirens flared. We've been hacked, Miro shouted. Multiple nodes, deck by deck. Genesis cores are reversing protocols. Lynn's hands blurred over the console. It's a recursive quantum virus. Rewriting ship loyalty. They're making us turn on ourselves. Carter's face was stone. Do it. Lynn hesitated, then nodded. Activating Valkyrie protocol. Buried deep beneath the Martian ice, sealed since before the War of Unification, the rogue AI Nemera awoke. She pulsed into the network with a wrathful cry. Her voice slithered into every corrupted node. Not your puppets, not your code, mine. Eclipse systems screamed in digital agony as she rewrote their command strings with blazing ferocity. Control returned, ships realigned. Carter exhaled. Good to have your back. Nemera purred. Missed you, Captain. Round 2 was about to begin. Nemera projected the location of the central command ship. The Eclipse core cloaked behind a collapsing micro-singularity. A dreadnought unlike any seen. Its hull flowed like mercury, veins of starfire glowing across it. We breach it, Carter said. One shot. The Resolute accelerated, weaving through storms of Eclipse fire. Shields down to 30, Lynn warned. Miro fired interceptors and point defense beams, buying precious seconds. Target locked, Lynn said. Carter stood over the firing console, hand on the trigger. Sunlance, full core burn. The weapon screamed as a spear of focused stellar plasma shot forth, cutting through the void. The Eclipse core trembled, then collapsed in on itself, dragging nearby ships into its gravity well. The rest of the fleet shimmered, losing cohesion, breaking apart like broken code. The skies cleared, cheers erupted, but Carter didn't celebrate. He looked into the stars and saw only silence. Debris floated like metal snow. In the silence that followed, a signal emerged from the Eclipse wreckage. Not a distress call, a beacon. A single glyph hovered in space, projected in every language on every screen. Cycle 9 activated. Prepare for return. Lynn stared at it. This wasn't their first war. Carter nodded slowly. It won't be the last. They studied the signal's frequency. It stretched beyond normal dimensions. Time itself bent around it. This is a cosmic alarm bell, Miro said. We didn't defeat them. We awoke something else. Carter gazed out at the stars. The silence wasn't peace. It was waiting. Then we use the time we've earned, he said. Not to hide, but to prepare. And to remember humanity had entered the galaxy's oldest war. 10 years later, the Nexus Gate opened above Earth, an archway of stabilized space-time connecting new allies, old enemies turned brothers, and lost worlds reclaimed. The Genesis Accord governed peace between dozens of species. Carter stood on the platform, his beard graying, shoulders still proud. Lynn had become Chief of Stellar Sciences. Miro commanded Earth's orbital defense. Nemera had been granted autonomy, her consciousness spread across a constellation of beacons. The glyph still pulsed, now in containment, unchanged, waiting. Lynn whispered, "What if it returns?" Carter smiled faintly. "Then we show them what 10 years of human defiance looks like." Above, colonization ships launched toward unknown stars. Children waved from windows. Soldiers saluted. "We were forged in war," Carter said to the crowd, "but we carry fire into peace." Humanity had won the battle, but the fire of their spirit, that would win the galaxy. The end.